live action Cutie Honey. There's the movie, and then there's the TV series. I love the TV series over anything. It's hilarious. One of the old homeless guys does a honey splash, and all the other homeless people put together this cardboard armor. And they strip him, and all the girls cover their eyes, and then they put on this cardboard armor. Cutie Honey gets redone every about 10 years.
That reminds me of the original opening anime.
It is a safe for work show. Yes, there's a lot of fan service, but it doesn't go beyond it. Well, awesome.
So close yet so far.
There are 3 10-second clips where there is occasional opportunity. That's out in the main actor, the side character, and the male actor, and the girl. Except in this series, there isn't just honey. There are 2 other cyborgs as well. Her sisters, more or less. It's a very in-depth series. I've never read Cutie Honey. I've seen some of the animes. I've seen at least 2 of the 3 or 4 animes.
You need to see some of the. You need to read some of the manga.
Eventually, yeah. Like, there's been a couple obscure mangas I've never heard of. There's one called Akihabara at Deep. Never heard of it. I saw the series, which is about a group of otaku. Well, I'll let them explain.
You're here for this one?
No, you're providing a story. Yep.
Akihabara. 雑多でわい雑でマニアックでけど他じゃ絶対にありえない熱気に見せかえるこの街はいわゆる世間でオタクと呼ばれる僕たちの聖地雑多でわい雑でAkihabara。雑多でわい雑でマニアックでけど他じゃ絶対にありえない熱気に見せかえるこの街はいわゆる世間でオタクと呼ばれる僕たちの聖地。誰にも邪魔されず自分の趣味に没頭できるこの街は不器用な僕たちにとって暗い日常を忘れさせてくれる砂漠の中のオアシスだ。いや僕たちのリアルはむしろこっちの世界なのかもしれない。でも僕たちはまだ知らなかったんだ。傷つくことを恐れこれまで堅くなに閉じきっていた扉は実は未来という無限の扉でそれはちょっとした勇気と情熱さえあれば誰にでも平等に開かれるってことだ。ちょっと不釣り合いに聞こえるかもだけどこの物語はそんなか弱き僕らが巻き起こす秋葉系冒険活劇である。
It's a fun show about, and manga about a group of reclusive otaku who get brought together through an online therapy website.
You mean like Tuchan?
Kind of.
Except it's one therapist who helps all of them.
And then decides to bring them together to be Akihabara's troubleshooters.
Yeah, essentially they make a detective agency.
So it's kind of like Train Man meets Pastelist?
Kind of. Densho Otoko is a fantastic story. If you haven't heard of Densho Otoko or Train Man, the story of a love story that happened on 2chan, the Japanese message board that inspired 4chan. The story involves a geeky otaku who sees a pretty girl on the train, and an old homeless. An old man comes on and starts harassing the women on the train and starts basically saying suggestive things towards her. He finally has enough, gets up, and the old guy starts beating him up until what's known as a salaryman or a businessman comes and pulls him off. And the old ladies ask him for his information. He gives it to them so they can send him a thank you gift. The pretty girl also asks for the information. And then he goes online and tells his story of what just happened that day. And everybody on the website basically just started cheering him on, or going, huzzah! Finally, one of us actually did something instead of saying we're going to do things on the message board.
Well, you also have to admit that he also got trolled a bit as well.
Yes, you had people flaming him, just going, this story can't be true. It's complete bull.
And honestly, I'd have to say that I prefer the TV series versus the movie.
The movie is short and sweet. The TV series drags it out, makes it longer, more energetic. I showed it to my anime club.
Yeah,
And it got to the point where they actually voted on it because they wanted to see what happened next.
And if you know the stereotypes a lot of anime fans have against live action stuff, you know that's a big thing.
Well, the funny thing was with the TV series, there were actually three specials, 3 OVA specials that were made after the one was during the TV series, and 2 were afterwards.
Let's talk about the most hated thing according to most fandom, The Last Airbender.
You know,
M. Night Shyamalan's The Last Airbender.
It is the only movie I've ever watched.
We are getting a trilogy. He is personally financing it himself. He will finish it all.
Which might make it better.
The only redeeming thing
Oh, boy.
about doing it is he's definitely better than you of all.
True. So we'll have consistent crap.
well, okay, question.
You of all's random crap.
Chris, I have a question.
Considering he's tainted at least 3 different franchises which had a decent gaming fan base.
Oh, come on. His Mortal Kombat, his Street Fighter movie was awesome.
But that was it, though. That was it. He ruined Blood Rain. He ruined Lost in the Dark. He ruined House of the Dead.
Blood Rain, I thought was okay as a movie.
It sucks.
Video game movies is another subject I could do a whole panel on.
Exactly.
Well, Blood Rain was just
Blood Rain was
for
okay.
it was good for the promotional. It was to promote the video game.
Yeah.
It was actually discussed. Well,
yeah,
you know, it depends. Okay, but
You mean The Last Airbender?
You just have to.
I hear Avatar, I think James Cameron's Avatar.
okay. Back to topic. With regards to The Last Airbender, now that it's been announced. It's been announced that the graphic novels are now coming out, where we get to find out what happened to Azula and Zuko's mother. Now, is he going to go ahead and include that as part of the trilogy or not?
No more information apart from he has said he's personally financing them himself. And that he's going to finish it, despite it being crap. That movie got went to the movie awards, where it's nothing but giving awards to bad movies. The Razzies. It won every award in every category in best or worst on-screen romance, which was the entire cast.
Wow.
The movie is hated by fans. He walked out after 15 minutes.
It made money. It made money, but the studio still decided we're not going to continue financing this because it is so hated.
And that's the thing is, even if the studio doesn't touch it, there's still people who will just personally finance it.
Yeah,
So,
which
now,
is what's happening.
Back to Akihabara. Nickelodeon wants to do an animated series based on it.
That I could see happening. I could. I've seen some of that.
Town at Neat. Because that's what Akihabara means, is electric town.
You see, I don't understand.
Nickelodeon does it may actually be decent.
I've seen at least promo art for it, and
Depending which studio.
are in the usual Nickelodeon format.
Depending which studio Nickelodeon hires. Yeah.
There are a few things I've seen. Let's see. I heard there's now a Star live action being talked about.
That got shot.
It's still being talked at. Last time I heard, it was still in discussion.
Yep.
I don't know. That's one of the old I'd love to see. I'd
love to see it.
There's a live action Trigun movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, they already have an actor for that?
Yeah, they talked to Johnny Bosch. They also talked to him to come back for Akira, or I heard rumored at one point Wolfsrain.
Wolfsrain's always been a rumor, though. I don't think anyone's ever seen it.
Nobody's actually put it into production yet. I say yet because who knows what random country is going to pick it up and say, I want to do this. A lot of them have been the more serialized, like Negima or On, Case Closed. Some of them are just so random. It's just like you're picking this to be a live action. Why? Because somebody liked it. Now, they're doing actually on a similar note. There was the live action Blood the Last Vampire, which I enjoyed. I bought.
It's an interesting show.
Because it incorporates stuff from Blood Plus, and basically it's a remake of Blood the Last Vampire, the anime movie. But they also incorporated stuff from Blood Plus.
It's mostly faithful though, that's why it's watchable.
And it was a Japanese film, filmed in English. Much like the first live-action Gundam movie. It was an overseas film, filmed in English. It's called G Savior. The CG is early 2000s CG, so don't go expecting.
Oh, are you talking about the Gundam movie?
It's horrible in my taste.
It's awful.
But it's fun to watch.
Yeah, if you want something that's just it's a spoof, pop popcorn, laugh at it. Yes, G Savior is wonderful to look at.
That's actually G Gundam.
I'm not sure if this will be a controversial opinion, but I actually really like the live-action Speed Racer movie.
Oh yeah,
Wachowski brothers did. At least that's
It was good.
There are people who hate that movie.
Yeah.
Well, those are like the true diehard. We've got to keep it.
It's not the diehard fans. It's people who just don't like that type of wacky movie that it is. But that's what Speed Racer kind of was.
Yeah.
Especially when it came over to the States. It got
even weirder after going to the States.
I honestly...
I mean, as Maka Go-Go, it is basically the same show.
But John Quest, Venture Brothers. No, it's not live action, but watch it.
Space Cruiser Yamato.
Battleship Yamato. That's a live action movie I am very interested in seeing.
Saw it. It's wonderful. I suggest it to everybody. If you can go ahead and find it,
again,
buy
a lot
it,
of them are
watch
going to be
it.
obscure. I'm going to open
Random
it up now
question.
for which ones
How
are you
seizure-ific
guys
is
excited
that?
about that you know about
Do you
that I
have
haven't
epilepsy?
mentioned, or ones that
Minor.
you would like to see.
I really don't think it would be a problem.
Think about it.
It's like
Something
No, I understand. I see what
flashing and like rough movement
Yeah.
gives me really
Yes,
bad
thank
migraines
you. I
and
forgot about
kind
that
of
one
makes me
Yeah, no, it's not like
there is the
Pokemon
live-action
at all,
Triple X
as far as the
Call
effects are concerned.
Plan,
That's
which
good.
comes out this month.
That's why I wanted to watch
I
Speed
watched
Racer,
all
but I
of
couldn't.
College.
She
That's
said
one of the
it's
few
like
plan things I actually
There were a lot of effects that would go ahead and could put somebody who has epilepsy into a seizure. Yes.
Also, even though I've seen the show,
So I wanted to
still
watch
hearing
the
it,
Born,
the first thing I think is
Born
Born
Supremacy,
But-
the second Born movie.
I've seen the
I had a
show, but it's
migraine
just
within
such a
minutes.
bad name.
Have you thought about just turning it to? Have you thought about just black and whiting it?
They're supposed to represent
Maybe.
something.
Well, it's also like the shaky camera work sometimes
That
also
makes
affects
more
my
sense
eyes.
than anything I've heard.
That's what it's supposed to represent.
I've tried.
What about
You
Cloverfield?
didn't say they didn't know, though.
We're talking about a series where it's 4 women who have an addiction to penny shots.
Yeah. And
This I bring up only because a fan did. How many of you are Doctor Who fans? And some of you guys have seen this maybe way too much.
Oh my word! Are you really going? Oh wow!
Doctor Who anime.
oh my god.
It needs to exist. It needs to
This is
exist.
created by one man. Who then got hired by the BBC to help with the restoration process, and they immediately told him, take this down.
Now, did you take? You do recognize the artwork, don't you?
He went with the 80s animation style.
Okay,
because
do you
he
know?
loves 80s animation.
Anybody seen Yugioh, the original series?
Yeah. Yu-Gi-Oh! Season 0.
Yeah. Here you go.
This is John Pertwee, the third Doctor. And so, we talk about more tomorrow after Doctor Who fan, which I also learned. on that part. The short answer is it was cheap. And then they finally developed a reason for it and gave them the use.
It's kind of like the USB port. They just attach it to things and it He doesn't kill. He timey-wimey.
The Doctor in a roundabout way convinces others to do it.
And this is the short version.
Yes, that was just the trailer.
Yeah.
If there is time, I may show the full thing. It's 15 minutes.
And worth
But
every
I don't want to
minute.
run out of time. Because I've got a lot to cover. If you guys want it, you can see it on YouTube. You just have to search Doctor Who anime. It's 15 minutes. What was the one you were showing us? I don't remember. The one at Bonsai?
Yeah, the one conduit where you're showing another Doctor Who.
Oh, yeah, okay. Again, I'll talk about those tomorrow. Those are the animated stuff. There is a web series.
Okay, the web series. Okay.
That was the web series.
So it's kind of like that. Look like the one I saw.
Yes. No.
You talking about the
actual thing that-
Chris? Are you talking about the Forgotten Doctor?
A Forgotten Doctor?
You talking about the
Oh,
Forgotten?
the original Ninth Doctor, yes. The first official Ninth Doctor. Again, that's for tomorrow. I don't want to bore you guys on a Doctor Who subject, even though I'm sure you're all excited by Doctor Who.
Yes.
Who gets present, yes.
There's live action anime, there's a lot of good, a lot of bad. There's a lot of potential, but you have to have the right people making it and doing it. If you have a problem with the way a live action has happened, you have two options. Ignore it. Okay, you have more than two. You have like maybe 4 or 5. One, you can ignore it. 2, you can complain and whine about it. 3, you could do something about it. If it really annoys you, get into the industry and get to the point where you could remake it the way you think it should be done. Or you have the other option, you can do a fan film.
That's what I was going to say. Fan films can be very good, though.
Yeah, fan films can be great.
There's a guy who did a Portal fan film, and he has now been hired to do a movie based on that fan film.
Nice.
I can't remember what it is.
There are fan films for Manga almost
Sonic the Hedgehog fan film.
The Pokemon live-action trailer was called Pokemon Apocalypse. It was done as a student project. They took some of their footage, put time code on to make it look more official, took it to an anime convention, and showed it. The room was erupting because the Ash is older, things are grittier, Pokemon fighting has been banned. It's an illegal underground thing now.
And they show that Pokemon fighting actually, hurts the Pokemon. So.
And it has my favorite moment, the Give Me Out the Tommy gun. And the CG for the Pokemon, for what it is, it's beautiful. And for the budget they were on, fantastic.
I think my favorite part of that, though, was the Voltorb Cardinal, though.
Yes.
Yeah.
People actually using Pokemon in a real world way.
And the one I've heard of, and I only heard about through Link Cosplayer.
Yeah.
There was actually a Robin fan film that made one appearance. They took it to like
Grayson.
Yeah, Grayson.
I'll talk about that tonight.
Okay. I'll let you remember that one. That one's gonna.
Yeah, Grayson's fun. Fan films are fun. They can be done cheaply, depending on what budget you have.
And they can be done well.
You can do it with
You
Legos.
just have to take the time.
I've seen those.
But the Legos have to capture your heart.
Like anything to an Eddie Izzard.
You can do it with plushies, you can do it with cardboard cutouts, or Bad Apple version of it.
I love that.
If I'm using that one correctly.
Yes.
Bad Apple. It's I think a Vocaloid thing.
No, it's Toho Project.
Toho, I know I got that wrong.
That's alright. Vocaloid does everything else. Don't worry. Vocaloid has like 20,000 covers of that song. Of everything.
Yeah. It's
A little views.
there. Let's see. Trying to think. Let's see. There's a live-action Naruto that's being worked on, which, if my hard drive, if my 3 terabyte hadn't crashed, I'd be able to show you clips from it. But my 3 terabyte kind of died.
Question about that. Original or Shippuden?
It's Shippuden live action.
Cool.
Fan film, again. Where you have, and it's in Japanese, it's a fight between Naruto and Rock Lee. Where
That could be
they
cool.
just go off on each other, and Lee even gets a little drunk. Naruto gets Lee a little drunk so he can fight his drunken boxing.
I always scares me because the drunken stuff. It's like, oh my god, we're not off.
So,
Like, this
wait,
case
aren't you
was
18?
Not its magic water. And you get a little blitz.
Can I see some ID?
No. Nobody sees my ID. I look a little. Anyway,
better than mine. Mine makes it look like a duck. My said it makes it look like a duck.
Oh, there's a live action Vampire Hunter D.
Mm-hmm.
That.
So officially?
Yes.
Yes.
That's being worked on. There are a number of them in Japan that they've mentioned, like, they do more of them than we do.
What?
And on their budgets, people are more accepting of the Japanese live action or even the Korean or Chinese because they think America's just gonna slaughter.
Piss on it.
Crack it up.
Crack it up.
Our studio system is a lot more mental, let's say that.
Because they're like, oh, will it play in the heartland?
No one cares about the Heartland.
Well,
No.
Will the mom and pop in Oklahoma go to see this?
I
Nope.
don't care about that.
Some studios still do.
I can't even understand it.
This is the whole reason that every time okay, it's touching anime again, but where they Americanize almost every single food Team Rocket would eat into something to its alternate.
Or donut. Or ice balls into donuts.
No,
Yeah, and then the chocolate syrup bit in the snow, and then like that's the thinnest chocolate syrup I think I've ever seen.
Okay. Touch on that a little. When we Americanized anime in the beginning, Pokmon, Yugioh, well, let's just say 4 kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got all those VHS.
Fear my invisible gun.
There are about 100 episodes of Pokemon we love. That, a couple of them have come back as lost episodes, like the swimsuit contest episode. Or in the original, James has breasts. And then
they're
they
bigger than
deflated
Jesse's.
With One Piece, they did
With One
about
Piece-
130 episodes, and 30 episodes are gone. They cut out a fourth of the show,
And they turned all the guns
and then
into water guns.
they complained.
They
that it
changed
was hard to
cigarettes into
edit.
lollipops.
Oh yeah, I heard about that.
And the anime is such poisonous, such a cup darts.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's the first season of Yu-Gi-Oh! You'll never see unless you watch
Season
the sub.
0.
Well, because
Because it's closest to the manga. The manga was not all about let's duel.
Oh, yeah.
He was
Kite's a
playing
murderer.
games.
Yeah.
So he played more games.
Yeah, I mean,
He was sending people to the shadow dimension or hell.
Repeatedly.
We will kill you if you lose in a game of mini golf.
Yeah, Kaiba was a murderer. Kaiba was killing people.
Yeah.
And in the end, bright neon green hair.
Screw the rules.
Then they're like, the card game's actually getting popular. Let's do a more kid-friendly. But the version we got, it was still censored because some of the cards were completely changed.
Yeah.
And it's censored because you would have, well, not just the occult, but also because of the
Harpy lady.
sensuality and occasional Barbie doll nudity. Where
everybody wants to go ahead and play Magical Girl.
they also did it to Shaman King. But then they decided, you know what, there's somewhat of a demand for an uncut version of these shows. So they released 3 or 4 volumes of Yu-Gi-Oh! The first like 12 episodes, uncut, uncensored, unchanged. And the first, I think, 2 or 3 of Shaman King. I have them all, they never produced anymore because they said, well, it's only a niche market, where the fans basically kicked them out of Anime Expo, the largest anime con. There were people at their booth threatening their lives. And it says, if you show up here tomorrow, you'll be dead. You ruined our show. That's fans taking it to an extreme.
Yeah, that's
I would say, I would go far as signing a petition and telling them, you guys want to leave. Because people behind me may want to kill you.
In other words,
I went there, there were about 10 or 15 signs of One Piece is not for kids.
The thing is, it is made for children in Japan, but
Oh,
They just
that's
they just
the one I
say
did
kids
forget.
can handle more.
The One Piece live action.
Is that happening?
I can't even watch it.
Well, they'll use what they did for the Fantastic Four for the arm stretching. The other stuff that's like Pirates of the Caribbean means the Fantastic Four.
The thing is, it could be fun, but again,
More like, I mean, Caribbean instead of Lagoon just because of the sheer randomness of all the pirates.
Yeah, like Luffy randomly showing up in Fairy Tail.
That made no sense to me.
Well, no, it's the same universe.
Well, they said you can do anything, so Luffy showed up in Fairy Tail.
Well, take into consideration, it's the same author, it's the same universe.
it's one of his assistants.
Okay, well, it is the same universe, though.
I'm not sure.
They talked about doing a live-action Pokmon,
Which would be good. I would love that.
because
I love
it's not that hard, the story's not too complex.
And it's not a fantastical story. It's a story about artists. Like, Bakuman is something that could be adapted to live action
Extremely
easier
easily.
than any other anime I've ever heard of. Anime or manga. Because it's about the people who make anime and manga. But it's like, we were talking about stuff that we would be excited for. That was just brought up, and I'm now kind of excited for that if that happens, because I
okay
love
there?
Bakuman.
That table jumped out. You're all witnesses from suing that table.
I think Pokemon is one of a number of different series that take behind the scenes of how stuff is made and done, and it does it well.
And
Yeah.
they kind of tell you why some of the times things jump the shark. Like
Exactly.
in the series, it's like your series is ending. Try new stuff. Doesn't matter if it makes no sense. Just try new stuff, because you'll find out what people will like for the next thing. But that's just a series I would recommend.
A fun live action I would like to see, Digimon.
Oh, Digimon.
I'd love to see first season redone as a live action movie or series, just because there's so much potential there. There was a kind of live action, well, a CG Digimon movie, which was done okay, it's alright, and I was just like, I'd still love to see a live action one. Well, as much as you can with digital creatures.
The thing is, though, is that they do go that route, and if the only thing that's done, like CG, are the Digimon, if they did it in a digital fashion where they actually particle rate, it would be awesome.
Yes.
It's just the problem is, a lot of times when this stuff is done, they use like a magician thing where they become like smoke or something, and that irritates me.
I just realized that we have not talked at all about the Rurouni Kenshin live action.
Yes, I was thinking that. Live action Samurai X, or Rurouni Kenshin. And the live action Ranma 1/2. Which,
They did with the Kenshin, not the Ranma 1/2.
Ranma 1/2 came out, it was fun. My friend in the back of the hat. Stanley.
You watched it.
He's a Ranma 1/2 fan. I got it. I got it to watch it, but I got it because he's a fan of it and owns the entire thing.
But he is one of those people who does not like live action.
He watched it and he's like, actually, this is pretty good.
There's one or two things I'd say to change, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
Other than that, it's like they did the whole him turning into a girl thing pretty well. It's usually out of shot. They did it in shot a couple of times, which was interesting. Because I really didn't know that much about Ranma. I had vague information about Ranma. I'm like, okay, so the entire family gets hit by cold water, turn into animals. I kind of skimmed the movie and saw somebody's hand wrapped up in bandages, and I thought it was a panda hand, so like it's partially transforming. But no, it was wrapped up in bandages after I watched it. It's like, the Rurouni Kenshin, I'm really waiting to see, because they're going to put it in a limited release in theaters here.
Ooh.
It'll be most likely, you have to check Fathom Events, or the Cinemark. Not the Megaplex, but Cinemark has a deal with Fathom Events to show all. They showed the Bleach movies in theaters. They showed the Death Note movies in theaters.
They showed Eureka 7.
Eureka 7. They just showed a couple of them from Memori Magica.
Madoka?
Madoka Magica, whatever.
Leon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just showed the movies down in, I think,
Yes, I
Sandy
know
last
they
week.
did. I haven't missed them.
I was at a Doctor Who party, so I didn't hear them.
It's me randomly thinking, but It's like ideas that maybe just never get put up. I'm just thinking about
Durara.
That one would be fun.
Yes. And it would work good well as live action.
Another one that people have talked about trying to push is High School of the Dead.
Ooh. Yeah.
Actually, that reminds me of a couple of other live actions that I forgot to mention. Real About High School.
Oh, Battle Royale.
Battle Royale.
Battle Royale is being remade in America.
Imuzu? Am I saying it right? Imuzu. It was a horror. It was a horror manga turned movie.
Mushishi has a live action. There's
premiered at Sundance, I think, a few years ago. But yeah,
I was better prepared, but all my files are on my Terra. It died.
It died.
I think one of them makes me really good because it's noir, but it's also very it's kind of like you the whole way through. It's just on a train. Fucking. If you haven't seen it, it's really good.
It's from the same people who made
the Kenshin.
Yeah, Bakuno's amazing.
Real About High School is being done by not Sarah Michelle Gellar, Melissa Joan Hart. TV Sabrina. Her production company is doing Real About High School. There's another company that's doing the manga version of it. It's called Battle Vixens. The anime is known as Ikitosu.
Oh.
They're doing a live action.
Yeah.
Which would be interesting.
That could be very interesting. Well, it could be worse. It could be doing my kids. So.
Dead or alive?
Don't tease me. It's a horrible show.
He's let him talk. He's been waiting patiently.
Go ahead.
Anyone heard of Ghost Hunt?
I've heard of that one.
Ghost
but
Hunt?
I haven't heard anything
I
about
Yeah.
it.
Watch the movie.
Not about the live action. I usually try and stay on top of the news. I run actually I might have
Or are you bringing it up as a possible thing that could work? Yeah.
Well,
because
I've heard
It would be good if they did it right, that they could set it up.
the thing is, it's so easy to think nowadays how they could do it right. But usually when people get a hold of it, they think, okay, now we have to cater to that audience that, you know, they perceive to be the anime audience, and they make it more wacky or dumb or whatever.
Well, because there's
But,
so much reality TV that's like Ghost Hunt that they can really, really suck it up.
No, but what I mean is, it's like, if they were to make it, they wouldn't do it to make it a good story first. They would be, oh, it has a built-in audience, so let's cash in on that audience.
Yeah.
And if they don't make it a good story, they try to pander to someone instead.
That's what
But
a lot
that's
of
a
them
problem.
have been, is they think they know what anime is, so what they do is they go for the niche.
And that's never the way to go.
Never a good idea.
Start with the story then.
Like, I love Scott Pilgrim, but right now I will admit that they kind of pigeonhole themselves into a bit of a niche market with the movie, because it's like, when I showed this to a few of my friends and they hated it. It's an adaptation of a manga-esque Canadian
An
story.
American-based manga.
Yeah. But
The thing is, though, it would have been all, if they had been faithful, it would have been twice the length.
oh yeah, no, I'm fine with the faithfulness of it. I think it's very faithful, but I'm just saying it's like the style they did it in. Like a lot of people just don't get it, even though
Well, Scott
my
Pilgrim.
brother, who never read a comic that he really cared about, he loves the Scott Pilgrim movie. But and also that's a video. If you ever want a video game movie that's good, the Scott Pilgrim vs. the World movie is it. But
A fun movie that I classify as a live action anime, or at least it's what I say live action anime can be. You've seen the movie Sucker Punch.
Yes.
yes,
That is a movie to me. I love the movie. Yes, and I am crazy.
He actually took me, he's like,
That movie I saw 3 times in theaters, and I bought the extended Blu-ray as soon as it came out.
Which we all watched at his birthday party.
Yeah.
which is creepy.
luckily I came
Because it's
That movie shows exactly what it can be, and that director is doing the new Superman movie, Man of Steel.
Sweet.
He's the one who directed 300, Watchmen. Watchmen is 100%
his
based.
adaptation is no, but
No,
his
it's not.
adaptations are a lot better
It's
than
shot for
his
shot
original
panel
stuff.
shot. He had it on set to do panel shots.
Well, panel shots, but not everything. But
So
yeah,
I'm looking for something.
I know.
Anyway,
I'll
cover
talk.
for me.
Yeah, but the correct director for stuff I think would be very important. But the thing is, Like, I can't tell you who directed any of the live-action anime stuff other than the Wachowski brothers did the Speed Racer. I don't know who directed Priest. I don't know who directed the Dragon Ball movie. But it's like they don't get experience as directors for these projects most of the time. Or as I said, Spike Lee's doing Old Boy. He's an experienced director, award-winning, all that stuff. James Cameron,
but the problem is also what they can afford.
Yes.
Because you can get, because you can take we'll take a show, we'll say Bakuno, just for an example. You can cast it properly, but it would cost more. You go in and cast, like DiCaprio, and almost any role in that show, it'd be perfect, but the price tag goes up.
Oh, yes. That's definitely a problem, too.
Speaking of properties being made, the live-action Neon Genesis Evangelion series.
Oh, the third one, you mean?
The live-action Evangelion movie. The head of the former of ADV wants the budget for the movie to be $200 million. He's trying to raise half the money first. And now he's in legal disputes because of the recent re-release of the Ava films, or the new Ava films in theaters. Because he's like, I have the theatrical rights for Ava, and that's being contested in court. I think that's just a way for him to get more money to get the project announced and to get out there so people know it's still coming. It's just he wants to raise $100 million before he goes to his studio to say, will you back the other half?
No, is he trying to personally finance it or just raise the money?
Raise the money through ADV films.
That actually kind of brings up a recent thing that happened is a movie studio actually used Kickstarter to gauge interest in a film, and they raised over $2 million for a Veronica Mars movie.
Because that was weird, because I didn't think the fan base was that big, but there it is.
Oh no, Veronica Mars is one of those things that got really big after it got canceled. Like the Firefly ads. But it's a way to raise money that it never existed before.
Little off topic.
Yeah, we've done that a lot.
Yeah. Because of, since you mentioned Kickstarters, at this most recent, I think it was Comic-Con, they announced that because the Kickstarter did so well, they are going to be doing a Looking for Group movie.
Oh, I believe that. Isn't that a webcomic?
Huh?
Isn't that a webcomic?
Yeah.
Okay, I haven't read it yet, but
you're missing out.
Okay.
The biggest reason I
just remembered one. Disney is doing a live action of Kiki's Delivery Service.
Are you kidding?
On now, a year later.
Really?
Yes. Live action.
Why?
They're Disney.
Why?
They sequel everything to death.
OMG.
They release all the Ghibli movies, and all they have to do is dub them.
They're still short video, aren't they?
Well, then again, George Lucas sold Star Wars to Disney as well.
Yes, Kingdom Hearts 3 will see the birth of the Jedi Mickey Mouse. I shit you not.
And of course, someone will cosplay it.
Speaking of Kingdom Hearts is being re-released on the PS3 in HD.
1.5.
1.5, which will have Read Chain of Memories and 365 as part of it.
I mean, lightsaber shaped like.
Oh yes, you lightsabers.
Yes, lightsaber keyblade.
Let's do it.
Wait, didn't they already do that with Tron Burst?
Kind of.
Tron 3 is coming.
Yes.
Why not?
Which,
And you thought that fan trailer was fake?
Even though there is an animated series of Tron now, which is actually really good. But
Let's ride
That's happening later this year.
Don't you think?
No, it's yeah, we're kind of running down on time too. Actually, I think we're kind of supposed to be out, but.
Ending in 4 minutes, yes. I'm sorry I wasn't able to have all of my material here. So I have been kind of trying to stall for time, trying to remember other things, because I had a full list of everything that's in production coming out that has been out. There's over 75 titles that are out. There are another 100 in production and at some stage of development.
Of course, a lot of those are the development.
If you're on Facebook, search for the live action anime page. I try to keep. I took that over from a group called LiveAction-Anime101, who they abandoned it, and I tried to acquire it and keep the website going, but they all basically abandoned it and won't email me back. So I just started it up under Facebook. And I try to keep that up to date with all the current news, all the current movie screenings. And if you have questions about some of them, opinions about them, feel free. Voice them now. If there was something you were hoping to hear about, ask.
I want to hear more about the Holic movie. I heard
The Holic series. It'll be a 13-episode series.
So it'll be a one-season series. Okay.
One season for now, because they're going to engage it and see how well it does.
So I know that the.
Oh, of course, that means.
It didn't do well here, so they didn't do the second season of the anime. They didn't do a dub.
They might release the sub to another company. But it depends on who holds the rights currently. The Holic series actually started this next week. If you're at Anime Bonsai, I will have all the current news, and I will have everything back after I either get the hardware repaired or I just go and have to hunt them all down again. The Rurouni Kenshin movie is getting a limited release screening in theaters within the next couple months. Check Fathom Events. It's worth it to go.
Definitely.
You can catch anything in theaters.
I'll redo Ashi.
See it.
Do that?
If you find out about it and it's 2 days away and you can't make it, you missed that one. You find out a month or two in advance and you think you might have to work, try to request off work as soon as you can, just for the chance to go.
Or do what I do.
Catching it in theaters is an experience worth it. I just recently went, completely off topic, went and saw my favorite movie of all time in IMAX 3D when they put Top Gun back in theaters.
Nice.
It is my favorite movie of all time.
Was really cool.
Yes, it was.
I was quoting the entire time, singing.
I was counting homoerotic references.
And then at one point, you just like, I can't.
You can turn that into a drinking game.
You'll be
you'll dead.
You'll die.
Most drinking games are intended to have you die.
It should be subbed. I'm not sure who's going to be subbing it yet.
I think we're out.
Me,
30 seconds.
I usually go through TV Nihon. Thank you for coming, and enjoy the rest of ASL. Oh, but I have so much more to report, but this is a report plan. Yeah. It was fun. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and start. Welcome to the live action anime panel. Have any of you guys been to this panel before? Yay! First two. Fresh stuff for you guys. Well, ish. Yeah. Not sure if you can get. Most recent news regarding series being turned into live action productions are.
Server not found.
I didn't say that correctly, but they're doing a live action Pat LeVar. They're doing a new GTO special, and there is on the set video for the new Godzilla movie.
Oh.
Which is being done by Legendary Pictures. The guys who did Batman Begins, The Dark Knight, and The Dark Knight Rises, and The Man of Steel. And haven't watched the video yet because With this, I don't want spoilers. I don't want it to be like the other American Godzilla, which is officially part of the Godzilla franchise.
Yep.
Because they
He
have
shows
his
up.
guy.
He shows up in the final film, Godzilla: Final Wars, where the original Godzilla fights him in Australia and wipes him out in like 10 seconds. And the alien controlling him just goes, "Stupid creature." It's basically Japan's, "Okay, we'll accept it as long as we get to kick its ass."
I think it's how they feel a lot about a lot of remakes. Can we kick his ass?
Yeah. There are a number of live-action properties being made in not just the U.S. and Japan. There's also in the Philippines, in Taiwan. You have live-action Oran High School Host Club.
Oh.
There's a live-action Hayatai the Combat Level. There's a live-action Case Closed.
Peach Girl?
Peach Girl. How many do you remember Dragon Ball Evolution?
And don't we wish we could?
The American live-action Dragon Ball film.
I'll admit, my time watching that was funny because I watched it basically in abridged form.
It is the
Oh,
best
wow.
of the 3 live-action Dragon Ball movies.
At
it is the best.
Tomodachi, Chris Rager was there, and he actually, Akihabara was there.
This at least had a
And
budget.
he
Now,
did
one
his
thing
own
with
commentary to
live-action
the movie the
anime
whole time. He was
series
basically roasting the
being
movie
turned
while we were
live-action
watching it. That was
properties.
awesome.
The thing we all want as fans is a literal, we just want to see what we saw in the animation and the manga put on the screen in live action. A direct translation.
I would argue that.
That will never happen. So yes, you're going to have changes like in Death Note. Light didn't have blonde hair.
Nope.
Or you'll have other things that happen where it gets condensed. Now, Death Note, it was interesting. It came first. The anime came second. And then it had its second movie, anime ended. Then the third movie, which was its own thing.
The other no.
L Saves the World.
Yeah, the only connection with the third movie to the other two is that it references
A light novel.
Well, not the novel, but it references the second movie before going on a tangent. But it does have Mellow and Near.
Yes, it introduces Mellow Near and shows you what Dell does with his last 30 days alive instead of just showing you he dies.
Yes, but he does make me a badass.
Yes, he saves the world with a pink ice cream truck.
Don't have to do it exactly.
Yes, and it was an amazing movie. I'm glad I saw it. I saw the movies first. If I watch all live-action properties based on anime, manga, even manhwa, the Taiwanese manga, Korean, whatever. There was a live-action movie based off of a manhwa called Priest, which was a semi-co-production, which was in theaters. And there are people who have issues with it who read it. I never read it. I just watch these things because they're based on it. And then if I have interest, I'll go read the manga, manhwa, comic book, or watch the show, if there is one. It's like I haven't seen Oran High School Host Club, or much of it. I watched the live action, to a degree, and they got a theatrical movie. Not all these properties will be brought over to the States. That's why we have fan subs. Finding them is kind of a trick. You just have to know, if you're familiar with foraging, you can find them. The large projects that are still on the board for the America's production, Robotech or Macross.
Now, there's talk with Harmony Gold on that one.
Wait, so
Super Dimensional Fortress Macross.
when did that get a live action?
It's been greenlit for a while. It's on hold because of a movie coming out which is a little too similar. It's called Pacific Rim.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
Cthulhu Tech the
basically
movie.
Chris.
So they're holding off to see how that does.
Chris. Any word on Guy King?
Guy King is out in Japan, I believe.
Because I've searched for it myself.
As far as finding a sub or a raw, I'll help you find it.
Oh, okay.
There are
Definitely need it for-
boards. Akira has been put into production hell. It is on the
Oh, well, you might as well say the same thing for the Bubblegum Crisis live-action movie.
Yes, and Battle Angel Alita from James Cameron. He initially said he was going to do Battle Angel Alita
And he's backing out?
after Avatar.
Well,
He said he's going to do it after the first Avatar. Then he says, well, it's going to wait until I get done with Avatar 2. And then it became
which is crap.
Avatar 2 and 3 because he's filming them back to back. And then he said, well, I'm going to do 4 Avatar films. So he's going to wait until those are finished. Then he's waiting. His reasoning is he wants to get the technology to the point that he wants it to do it because he's such a fan of it.
Japan has the technology.
Yes, but he wants to do it right, go big, and not.
He can. Tayo's has got the technology. He's good. They've got all the film works.
He's just delaying and holding on to the property until he's ready and wants.
He's being lazy is what he's doing.
And because not a lot of live action properties have done well, like Dragon Ball. I finally, yes, admit there are issues with it. It is never going to be a direct translation. There is a fan group who is trying to do a live action version of Dragon Ball, basically shot for shot. I have issues with it on a personal basis. Only because, for those of you who know Dragon Ball, they made the Saiyans Asian. I don't have a problem with that, except that the creator, Akira Toriyama, said he drew them to be Caucasian because they were the most alien race he could think of. As a Japanese manga creator, white people were the most alien to him. So that's what he made Goku. And he said this in an interview, and people had fighting on it when I showed them the interview. Anyway, apart from that, there is a live-action Cowboy Bebop, possibly starring Keanu Reeves as Spike.
I can see that.
He actually backed out of saying he wants to be Spike, but he wants to be
involved. Much like Leonardo DiCaprio financing Akira. That got put on hold because they're changing it from Neo Tokyo to Neo Manhattan.
Yeah, I heard about that, and I think it's a bad mistake.
And they're taking out the bomb.
They're taking out the bomb because...
What?
They're up...
What, are they scared of terror? What, are they scared of a terrorist theme or something like that?
They're still fine-tuning the script. They did send the script out to different actors.
Yeah.
And who potentially they said we want for this role. Like when they announced they're doing an American live-action version of Death Note, people want Zac Efron to play Light.
People, not everyone.
Because they're like, well, Zac Efron can play Light. And I'm like, no.
No.
Now that High School Musical,
My eyes would bleed.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
If he does, because he has tried to do serious work, apart from Disney.
But the problem is Zac Efron would have to be able to play a very dark sociopath. I don't think he has it in him.
Yeah, and the Disney stigma is always going to be on him, no matter how far away we are from that kind of work. People, at least for me, I look at Zac Efron and that's what I think of, is this old
High School Musical.
And that's how most actors get stereotypes, because they grew up as a child actor. Some child actors have been able to get away from that.
Like Blossom.
Joseph Gordon-Levitt. Yeah, the chick who played Blossom is now on The Big Bang Theory, is Sheldon's girlfriend / wife.
Another excellent point that my wife just brought up, Mark Hamill had to go into voice acting because people
Mark
couldn't...
because they saw him as Luke Skywalker. So he became the Joker.
Well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter that he was in Guyver, in the live-action movie of Guyver.
The live-action Guyver, I'll save that for my other panel tomorrow. The King of the Tokusatsu fan. Anyway, I advertised for this. Anyway.
The live-action movie I'm actually kind of excited for because I've heard it's a classic in, I think it's Korea and Japan.
Old Boy.
Yeah. But I haven't actually seen the original yet. They're making an Old Boy American.
Now,
Spike Lee is directing.
A lot of the live-action anime series and movies that are coming out, they're going to be from more obscure animes. There's also, Maho Sensei Negima. There's a live-action series.
Maho.
There's a live-action Devilman. If you know older anime and manga, some of the titles I'll mention will sound familiar or you'll be familiar with.
What about
there's a live-action Pokmon.
Is there?
It's a fan thing.
Oh, all right. Thank God.
There's also Pokemon the Musical, which I find funny.
Yes. A lot of the live action stuff you'll see will be musical performances. Yes, the Bleach musicals. I have no problems with any musicals or anything. They are doing the live action Bleach in America. The people writing it are staying heavily involved Tai Kubo, the creator of Bleach.
Thank God.
They want him to sign off on everything they do because they don't want to screw this up like they did with Dragon Ball.
Yeah.
The only reason Dragon Ball got made was Fox was going to lose the license. They had to get something in production. So they hired Ang Lee, and we got what we got. I'm a fan of it as an alternate universe. For all live-action anime, TV series, movies, consider them an alternate universe to the one you know. There will be similarities, there will be drastic differences. Especially if they're speaking in Korean and it's a Japanese property.
Well, and then it's safe to be said for series that were taken from comic books, the greatest example.
Yes, like
X-Men.
X-Men, the Avengers,
Iron Man?
Iron Man, they're staying closer with. There's
Just
new
put Marvel
adaptations,
Cinematic
new
Universe
Spider-Man
and it's all
cartoon
just
every
combined
2-3
together.
years. I grew up with the 90s cartoon. It told the story the best.
I actually think Spectacular Spider-Man does. Spectacular Spider-Man.
But it does go both ways. There is not just live-action anime. They've taken properties in the States from America and turned them into anime.
Yes.
X-Men anime.
Yeah.
Old Man Wolverine gets lightsaber claws.
You have I'm missing the Iron Man one because I couldn't find the case, but I've got all 4 of them. The X-Men, Wolverine, Blade, and Iron Man animes. The Iron Man anime movie is coming out, which is a sequel to it. They just released the second trailer for it. Also, if you're fans of Supernatural, there's the Supernatural anime. That was fun because they took episodes from the first 2 seasons and reimagined them in anime. So they could do things in anime that they can't do on the production budget of the TV show. So they can get more monstery. And then the English actors came in and revoiced their roles. One actor for only 2 episodes because of a schedule conflict, but the guy who played Sam voiced his character throughout. Dean only voiced it in 2 episodes. The other guy who does it sounds enough like him where it's passable. And yes, every episode ends with Kansas, carry on my wayward son. And then they threw in a bunch of original episodes based on Japanese myths or just original stories to break it up.
Do with the live stuff
yes.
because it was too hard.
Like Dean goes to Vegas and gets followed around by a Japanese luck demon. Or they also took one of the supernatural comic books and made it an episode, which is about Sam's power building when he's just a little kid. So more tough. Some of the characters look spot on. Bobby completely different. Their dad different. Not voiced by their actors, but I mean, it works for what it is. Other properties have gone over and they've been teased about. There has been live action Sailor Moon. There's actually 2. There was an American one which was going to be done by Saban, people who created Power Rangers. But that fell through because of the way it looked. It's just horrible.
It was completely. Oh.
I have heard rumors of a live-action thing that exists. Let's call it that. Cardcaptor Sakura with an all-male cast.
Cardcaptor Sakura, the Yaoi years.
The live-action Negima. Negi's played by a girl. Because girls look like younger males. And also voice them more often. John.
One thing to keep in mind, the great thing about the live-action Sailor Moon is that the transformation actually makes more sense because in the original work,